All right, guys. I woke up this morning to a very nice surprise that Safuu was at 97 cents, which was a jump from, I think it had gone down to under 60 cents during the night. So that was a jump of, practically 100%. I mean, let's say about 80% jump. And of course, the fudders are going to say, organic growth. Guess what? It was the SIF. And the thing is, it was the SIF that did put about $100,000 into it. But then there was $1 million of buying that occurred after the SIF made a purchase. There was over $1 million, a little bit over $1.1 million worth of buying that occurred after the SIF made a $100,000 purchase. So it was organic. It was helped a little bit by the SIF because the SIF saw the price going down again. The team, I should say. And does anybody ever have imaginary conversations with people? I do all the time. Now, I talk to God a lot because I'm a Christian. But I also have, in my head, I have imaginary conversations with people. And this morning, for some reason, as I was walking my dog, I had an imaginary conversation with James Pelton. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a YouTuber who talks a lot about DeFi. He's big into yield nodes, and he's into 50 different, cryptos. He's got a ton of money, so he's able to put a ton of money into a bunch of different kinds of cryptos. And he's got a pretty big following on YouTube and Twitter, and he talks about 100 different types of cryptos. I don't know how people who follow him are able to invest in, and I don't actually follow any of his advice because it's too many. I don't have the money to do that. Tell me one that you really believe in, and I'll give that one a try. Don't tell me 100 of them that you're. And he's not even saying that he believes even very strongly in any of them. He's just presenting them. He's very good at what he does. And I like he talks about his faith a little bit, so I appreciate that. But the conversation that I imagined myself having with him was me explaining to him why I can't invest in all the different cryptos he talks about. Because I was you talk about a lot of different cryptos. I don't have the money to get into a lot of them. I'm just in one. And the one that I believe in right now is Safuu, which is going to be SafuuX soon. And the reason that I believe in it, because it's had a bumpy road lately, as all DeFi has had. Because from what I understand, even yield nodes, which was the gold standard in DeFi, next to Safuu, I think even they're having some trouble right now. I don't know. I was actually trying to look up yield nodes and I couldn't find them. So I don't know. I'm just going off of the hate that James Pelton has been getting lately. But so I was telling him yeah, Safuu is where I have all my conviction. That's where I have that's what I'm believing is going to work right now. That's where I've put all my money that I've invested in crypto, at least for now. When I make profits from that, I'll be definitely investing in other cryptos, some blue chip stuff and some altcoins as well, to go for those, next bull run, those 100 or 1,000 X's, But anyways, I was telling him that Safuu is the one that I'm invested in. And the reason is because of Bryan Legend. Even before I was in Safuu, I was hearing people talking very positively about it. It was at a time when it was at about $145. I think it had already reached its peak and it was kind of all coming down, but it was maintaining $145, $150 for a while there. That's when I first bought in. And I just kept hearing people mentioning Bryan's name. And then I came across Daniel Prado's videos, and I was like, man, this guy is super passionate about Safuu. And I started getting a glimpse of the community that was around Safuu. And I was like, this is something. I've never seen anything like this before. I mean, I've only been in crypto for about a year now, and so I've not really been a part of any community in crypto. I've just been, a bystander and, playing around with Coinbase and stuff like that, losing money all the time. That's pretty much all I've been doing. But, which is in crypto, it's perfectly fine that you make a ton of mistakes, because if you make one right decision, you're all of a sudden a millionaire. So it doesn't matter if you lose a little bit of money, because you make one right decision and you're going to be very, 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 very far in the black. So, anyways, so I first came across Daniel Prado, and I just I don't know if Prado got me to listen to Bryan Legend, but eventually I found Bryan Legend's AMAs, and I listened to them after he had done them, because I think it was the first 30 days of Safuu. He was doing one a day. I watched them all after he had done them. And I was watching 2 or 3 a day, and I was just hooked. I was like, man, this guy is freaking awesome. And that was what I believed in. I sold all my other cryptos, bought into Safuu, and invested all my loved ones into Safuu. Not all of my loved ones, but practically all of my loved ones. I've opened up like 15 wallets for people. I've got all mine on my own phone filled up, and then my fiance has a few, and I've exported a couple to the people that I opened them for. But yeah, Safuu was the thing for me. I mean, that was the one that I believed in. That was the one I had conviction, and it was because of Bryan Legend. Daniel Prado definitely helped, but Daniel Prado wasn't the one that was in charge of Safuu. He was doing terrific marketing for them. The man is gifted at what he does. He deserves a much bigger following than he has, in my opinion. But yeah, it was Bryan, and his leadership is what's going to propel SafuuX to the stratosphere and make it just the biggest crypto in the world, I believe. And anyways, this is what I was telling James Pelton in my imaginary conversation. And I was looking at my YouTube comments this morning, and there was a guy who made a comment, and he didn't seem like a FUD or anything. It was just a guy just being honest. He said that he had invested very early in Safuu, like I think he said in week 1 or something like that. And he said it was one of my videos where I had done the calculation on how much 100 Safuu would turn into by July of next year after the high APY is done. And he said, based on my calculations, when I had invested in Safuu, I should have been a multimillionaire by now, but that didn't happen. And I think he was just being honest, just saying what we all know. And I just responded. I said, I hear you, man. Things didn't work out like we were expecting with the Safuu token, and Bryan Legend, being the CEO, being the captain of this ship, he saw what was happening, and he had to pivot, and bring out that blockchain sooner than he had originally planned. I think the blockchain was supposed to come out 4 or 5 years into the Safuu token. Instead, it's coming out less than a year after the Safuu token came out. So, that's what a good CEO does. They keep their eyes on things, and when they need to, they pivot in order to ensure the success of the company. And that's what Bryan Legend has done, and I think he's being masterful about it. I think all of DeFi is not doing well right now. Like I said, I saw that even James Pelton was getting a lot of hate lately, and because he talks mostly about DeFi, and I guess a lot of his projects aren't doing well. So it's a tough time right now in DeFi. It's a tough time in crypto, period. It's like, we're deep in the bear market right now. But good times are coming. There are good days ahead. All right, the blockchain is going to be on mainnet come January 20th, and there's always a ton of hype around a new blockchain, because people have seen, historically, we have seen that every blockchain is a success, and if you get in early, the amount of profit that you can see, that you can expect, is astra-freaking-nomical. And not only that, like, we who are in Safuu already and are going to sacrifice on October 20th, we are like we're pre-sale pretty much, because that month of sacrifice is the pre-sale period. And if you had gotten in pre-sale in any other blockchain, you'd be doing good right now. So we're all going to be doing good. We're all going to make it. And I was watching the price, and obviously people are selling because, like I've said before, people are awfully peoply, and that's what they do. When the price goes up, they sell, because they don't realize, like Daniel Prado says, they don't realize what they bought. They don't realize that this is something that you're supposed to hold and let it rebase. And especially with the blockchain coming, you're investing in a blockchain right now. You're not investing in a token that you can just make, day trade on. If you want to, you're free to do that, obviously, but that's not the way to make maximum profit. The way to make maximum profit is to hold and to see that beautiful gain once the blockchain comes out, see that price skyrocket, once mainnet comes around, and to just reap the rewards, and to either take passive income from it, like Kevin Bjorklund talks about every 15 days, or I don't know, take profit whenever you want, or if you're like me, you're gonna hold until July, so you have a nice big bag. In my opinion, I believe it's gonna be a massive bag. But whatever you do you, because this is not financial advice, as we always say. It's your money, you do whatever you want with it. But as far as I know, Safu is the only DeFi token that's becoming a blockchain. I know Hex is supposed to be... See, I don't know too much about Hex or Pulse Chain. I don't know if Hex is becoming Pulse Chain or if they're two separate things. I don't know. But we're coming out before Pulse Chain, and we're doing things differently than them. And so I don't even know why I'm mentioning them. But, Richard Hart's a pretty big, important guy in crypto. But Bryan Legend is also a very big, important guy in crypto. And he's going to become like a very, very well-known household name in the coming year with this blockchain coming out. And deservedly so, because the guy's put in a ton of work. He's been as transparent as a CEO can be. And that's the thing. That's the other thing I was telling James Pelton. I was like, listen, Bryan Legend has put himself out there. From day one, we saw his face. He even doxed himself, rage doxed, as they say, because he was angry about it at the time. But, we know who he is. From day one, he's been as transparent as can be. What other DeFi project is like that? I think Titan had someone that had doxed himself, but then one of the developers screwed everybody over or something like that. Bryan Legend hasn't had that issue. He's surrounded himself with a very good team. And but he's been as transparent as can be. Excuse me. And that's in crypto, that's so rare. I tried some other DeFi projects because I was brand new to it and didn't know anything about it. So every single one that came out, I was like, oh my goodness, this one's gonna turn to $1 million. That one's gonna turn to $1 million. I mean, I invested in YieldZilla for me and 5 other people. That turned out to be a humongous waste of money. And what little money I still had in there, I got it out and put it in Safeu as quick as I could. But I also tried Clock X24, if anybody remembers that one. What time is it? Gotta get ready for church soon. And let me see, what else did I try? I tried a whole bunch. I was in Titano back when it was still worth more than nothing. I did try Titan very briefly. Even though Pedoverse sounds awfully similar to pedophile, I gave that a try. Because 1.2 million % APY. I didn't know how it was going to work, and I didn't understand how a video game worked into it. I don't understand how video games work into crypto, but Gary Vaynerchuk one time explained NFTs this way. He said, whenever you're playing a video game and you want to buy a new skin for your character or a new paint color for your car or whatever, you pay money in the game for that. You pay real money to have that. He's like, that's what an NFT is. You're you're paying for something that, like, it's just a visual thing, but it has value because there's only one of it that exists, and it has its own URL or something like that. Anyways, that's why I never got too much into the legendary Safu Club. I don't understand NFTs. I don't. I mean, that's Gary Vaynerchuk's explanation of it was probably the best I've heard. But I wish those guys luck. They're doing good stuff, as far as I know. But anyways, where was I going with that? Yes, Safu, I just have believed in because of Bryan Legend, and I believe he's a good guy. I know there's a lot of FUD about him. I know there's a lot of people that think I'm not even going to say the word because I think it's so ridiculous. It's completely unfounded to call him anything negative. I think he's a good dude. Whatever's gone on in his personal life to make his family dislike him. You know what it is? Sometimes your family can be super supportive, and sometimes they can get jealous and just want to tear you down. And it seems, unfortunately, like Bryan Legend's family has gone the latter route of trying to tear him down. You know, it's like what are those crabs called? It's like a certain kind of crab where, like, you if you throw them into a bucket, you don't even have to put a lid on the bucket to keep them in there, because as soon as one crab tries to climb out, the other crabs pull him back down. And that's, you know, sometimes that's how family can be. I mean, sometimes that's just how people can be, you know. But we can be, you know, I don't know. I think it's better to build people up, because I believe, you know, when we build people up, when we're generous, first off, it's good for us, and I believe, anyways, I'm not going to make this about my faith or nothing, but anyways, it's good to be positive. There's definitely, things definitely are, you're healthier, and you tend to be more successful when you're a positive person. That's, like, scientifically proven. I couldn't point you to any scientific studies, but I'm sure there are some out there. But anyways, madras crabs, that's what they're called, madras crabs. Anyways, this video's gone on for almost 18 minutes now. I just wanted to talk about the price pump. I thought that was cool. It's going to come back down. I think it's already down to 92 cents because people are selling. But that's cool. I mean, that shows you, and it's coming down fairly slowly. I mean, we'll see how the rest of the day goes, but that shows you that if the SIF makes a couple more strategic buys, which it still has over $300,000 left. It was over $400,000. Now it's a little over $300,000 after making that big purchase. It can still make a few more big sales in the next, like, 5 days before sacrifice. And if it pumps up the price, you know, the price comes down fairly slowly when it does that. So if the SIF does that, like, right before sacrifice, I think we'll still have plenty of time to sacrifice our tokens before people sell that stuff. So, I guess all that to say that good things are coming. Just trust Bryan and the team, trust the process, trust the SafuuX blockchain, because it's going to be tremendously successful. And, you know, not financial advice, obviously, you do you. But I've done a ton of research on Safu. I have not done a ton of research on other cryptos. I honestly don't care. I've been hearing a lot about QNT recently, which looks interesting because it has such a low supply. People are saying it might surpass Bitcoin in price, whatever. You know, I pulled it up in my wallet, so I'm keeping my eye on it, but Safu is the one that I'm invested in. And Safu is one I believe is gonna bring the you know, the profit I'm looking for, and then I'll be able to invest in other stuff like QNT or whatever, you know, Bitcoin and Binance and, you know, stuff like that. But first, it's gonna be Safu, because SafuuX is going to the moon, and it's gonna be it's hard to say what's gonna happen because we don't know how many people are gonna sacrifice. We don't know what the fire pit is gonna start at, but it's very likely that fire pit will start very high, and we will immediately become deflationary, and that supply is going to get small. And when the supply is small, all bets are off as to what the price can go to. So, you know, if you're in Safuu now and ready to sacrifice on October 20th, you're in a real good place. So, just you know, be positive. Don't let those fudders get you down. I'm sure they don't, but you know, good times are coming. All right. If you've watched this far, thank you very much. And yeah, till next time. Till next time. Maybe I should come up with something better for that. All right.